Good afternoon, everyone. It's Anita Menon from hearthealthbrainhealth.com, encouraging healthy grieving and mindful actions. Today, I want to talk a little bit more about those three gunas that I started in the last video. And today, I'm going to start with one of the gunas, which again, remember, is a temperament or almost like a behavior style or a personality or a mood. And this temperament that I want to talk about today is called Tamas. Tamas is one that is more linked with kind of a laziness. It's not an active, it's kind of a slow moving energy. And I came across this great quotation by Sadhguru, which says, lethargy comes from overconsumption of either food or thought. Lethargy comes from either overconsumption of food or thought. Now, we put this together with this Tamas personality, and oftentimes this personality will only be able to think about what do I have to eat next and when will I sleep next. So that's sort of lethargic sort of energy. There is kind of a dullness of the mind. There is a slowness. There is a inability to make decisions and decisions between right and not right, good and not good. And you might have someone who is in your life that you say, oh, you better not do this. And because of this, maybe you don't even have to have a reason because it's happened so many times that this person has gone to this place or left at this time or has been late for work because they've been out at a different time, that sort of idea, all sorts of reasons that are very obvious. But the person doesn't want to listen, right? So they're just like, I'll be fine. And they go off. And you'll notice my mood in that, right? That it's kind of like, it's fine, right? Yet, again and again, they go through the same struggle with whatever decisions they make. But the decision making itself is not so easy. So, to concentrate on making an important decision, so sometimes people can be owners of a business and they cannot make a decision of whether they should merge with another company or whether they should continue on their own or whether they should liquidate a little bit. That's a bigger decision to make, right? But if a manager is in that, they might either hand off the task to someone else or they might actually say this can wait, right? We don't have to make this decision, right? So that's kind of the energy. Now you think about in relationships, there's an indecisiveness of should I do this or should I do that? So when people are dating people, for example, they might think, well, this person's good because of this and this person's good because of this, but it's a very indecisive energy. This could happen at a buffet. Should I take this or should I take this? So maybe in a buffet they take a little bit of everything, but let's say choosing a meal at a restaurant. So looking at a menu and thinking, should I get this or should I get this? Now, this energy is, again, not a very content energy. It's feeling stuck. And you can imagine if you had to make any big decision or do something right before you're going to sleep and someone calls you up and says, hey, you want to go for a run? And you're ready to go to sleep, and you wouldn't really feel like it, right? Most likely, if you're really ready to go to sleep, you wouldn't really feel like it. Now, imagine if that energy is happening throughout the day, maybe throughout a few days, maybe throughout weeks and months. And this happens for people. So you might know of people, or you might yourself have gone through the experience of depression. And depression will often present itself in this tamas sort of style, right? It's not a place that really feels ready to undertake anything, right? So, and then decisions are not so easy. So the mind is very cloudy and foggy, and judgment is not so clear, right? So this is tamas. And remember that the three gunas that I'll be speaking about are all happening in all of us every day, except every person has a little bit more of one or the other. And that can happen in any day and also in life, because whatever we feed in terms of our styles of our mannerism of communication, our mannerism of action, our manners of thoughts. Our thoughts create us, right? So if a person is in that space of tamas and is thinking about those sorts of thoughts regularly, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to do. And a lot of people go through this. So this is where acute depression can go into a chronic depression, right? But this can happen through many things, right? So someone's in a job that they do not like, and yet they're going to stay because I might as well. They're in a relationship that is not bringing them happiness, or they're not happy. And it's like, that's just who I am. That's just my personality. That's the energy of Tamas. So I came across this great quotation by Virginia Woolf, of all people. Well, I shouldn't say of all people because she's a beautiful writer, but I found this quote that I thought was really useful for this video. This one says, once conform, once do what other people do because they do it, and a lethargy steals all over the finer nerves and faculties of the soul. She becomes an outer show and inner emptiness, dull, callous, and indifferent. Whew. Now, I think this is really important to discuss because when we start practicing, so let's say, well, I do this because they do that, or I do this because I don't know anything else to do, right? When we get into that space, it covers up our soul, right? So our soul really has some enthusiasm for our life experience, and sometimes our mind does not. And once we get lost in this, because I do this because they do, or I do this because that's all I know, or that's just who I am, or that's my personality, I've been that way all my life, all of those sorts of communications that we're listening to in our own minds will then bring out that sort of communication verbally with others, and it will bring about those sorts of actions that feed the exact same experience. So today I'd love for you to sit for 5 minutes after this video and just think about, are there times that you're really noticing that you get into this tamas perspective, and how much time do you spend in that? Because again, before bed, fantastic. Other times, maybe not so fantastic, and maybe you can be mindful about your own mind and see, where is your mind regularly. I'm going to finish with one quotation by Mahatma Gandhi, because you know I love his quotations. He says, harshness is conquered by gentleness, hatred by love, lethargy by zeal, and darkness by light. So what does that mean? If you are in this space of lethargy, the only way, or the best way to overcome it, is by doing the exact opposite, right? So even if it only is 1 minute in your day, maybe it's 5 minutes in your day, maybe it grows into an hour of your day. And this is why exercise is very useful for people who are depressed. So I will leave you with that thought and that awareness, and I wish you a fabulous day ahead, and I hope you remember, transform your mind and transform your life. Have a great day, everyone.